Hello and welcome to World Gone Geek. I am your host, Jeff, aka Grounded Geek, and it has been a minute since we last saw you and you last saw us. We are so glad to be back. Took a little extended hiatus, lots of different things going on, job things, family things for all of us have been kind of juggling for the last few months since the holidays, but we're back. We got a guest tonight we're looking forward to talking to. We're glad you're here. We're going to be giving away some rental codes, Redbox rental codes for Little Dixie from Paramount Pictures. We're going to be doing that in just a little bit. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us, and we're going to get right into the show. Before we do, I want to introduce my co-host, who is the most, and here he is, Utah Shu. Welcome.
Greetings, programs. You almost got me on a spit take there with that host, as the co-host with the most.
There's no Aaliyah with us tonight.
Yeah,
we are missing Aaliyah, but she is in Philly, I believe.
She's in Philly.
Yeah, and I asked her if what's the atmosphere there since they're prepping for their team to go to the Super Bowl, and she had no idea.
But the Super Bowl's not in Philly, so there wouldn't be any.
The fans are there, though. Not everybody in Philly is getting up and going, right? I mean, many of them will watch.
Fair. I will say here in Cleveland Heights, there's a lot of excitement because the Kelsey brothers, one who plays for Kansas City, one who plays for the Eagles, are playing against each other in the Super Bowl, and they are both graduates of Heights High.
Nice.
That's Cleveland Heights High School for those who aren't aware.
Yeah,
anyways,
saw pictures of their mom with the split shirt, right? Both their numbers and both their colors and everything. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. That house, I mean, she wins no matter what, right?
She wins no matter what. The Kelsey family wins no matter what. There are KC and Eagles flags, both flying from the same house at multiple houses in the neighborhood. It's kind of cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, so again, we're back. This has been a little while. I'm already feeling a little bit. I'm trying to shake the rust off a little bit because I've not been.
Has it been since last year? Has it been since last year?
It's the first time, that we've been back since last year. Because just there's been a lot going on. Obviously,
life happens, man.
Doing a lot. I've been doing a lot. You are in the middle of another play. You guys just had a matinee. We were chatting briefly about that. You are in SpongeBob the Musical. Tell us about that.
Yes, I am in Mighty Goliath Productions production of the SpongeBob Musical, and I have been typecast as Old Man Jenkins because they said, you know what, Utah, you are an old man, so you don't even have to act. You can be Old Man Jenkins. So we had a matinee today.
I remember when you were doing the auditioning for that, and I was so tempted because I think I would make a great Mr. Krabs, but I don't sing very well. So I was like, I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to.
You would make a great Mr. Krabs if you didn't have to sing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, because it's a voice, though. He does a voice, like, you know what I mean? It's like he sings in a voice.
It is very much. There's a specific voice.
But then, when it comes to like the real, getting into real singing, like the holding a tune well, that's hard for me. So I was like, maybe we'll see someday. Maybe.
Well, hey, and what's great about Mighty Goliath Productions is if you want to be involved and be on stage in the ensemble, you don't have to audition. They're all very much about trying to give everyone the theater experience. So if you just want to get on stage and just do maybe some dance numbers and some singing or do
you don't want me to dance either.
You know what? Look,
but again, as Mr. Krabs, like I feel like I have.
You just you have to make character choices. Look, I'm Old Man Jenkins, and so I made the character choice of dancing like Old Man Jenkins. So
there you go. I mean, it's a great show, though. I've seen it on
Paramount Plus,
and watched the recording of the Broadway musical, and that show was way better than it ever had any right to be. Like I had no idea how good it was going to be. I thought, this is going to be silly, but you know what? Let's watch it. I loved it. So fun. Great.
It has a surprising amount of heart. I mean, when you think about a musical based on a children's television show, you kind of don't expect a lot of depth to it.
Sure.
but there's some real. It's a really heartwarming show. It really is.
Yeah.
And what's also impressive to me is that the music is written by various people.
Oh my gosh,
It's not
there's
written
so
by
many
one.
big
It's not
big acts.
right. I mean, Sarah Bareilles wrote one. Jonathan Colton wrote a couple songs. Aerosmith wrote a song. David Bowie and Brian Eno wrote a song.
That's
Plain
great.
White Tees, Lady Antebellum. So I mean, and you can tell too if you like sit through and listen to the songs and you know who wrote songs, you'd be like, oh, that definitely sounds like a Bowie tune, or that's so Aerosmith, it's ridiculous. So um,
Yeah. I
it's
I
a
thought it was
it's
great.
it's a fun musical. It's a good show.
That's another one that I had no idea what I was what to expect, other than I've seen the show, the SpongeBob show, but I didn't know. But last week I got to see a musical here in Cleveland. The Playhouse was Hadestown, and I got to be
Oh,
honest.
fantastic
So
show.
that's the first time I've gone to one of these to a Broadway show where I had no prior knowledge. Like I've seen the
Not
post,
even the music.
seen that. I've never heard the music. I don't know what it's about. Other than
Wow.
Hadestown makes me think there's gods or
Something to
hell
do
or
with
something
hell
involved,
in
right?
Greek. Yeah.
And well, I wasn't even 100% sure Greek. I mean, I know Hades is Greek, but you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it was going to be like a Greek story, a Greek tragedy. And oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And I was just
Oh, it's
so,
fantastic.
the music is so good. It is,
Oh yeah, everything about it
my
is.
mind was blown how well I just had.
Isn't it great?
And I wonder, no, I still would have been just blown away by it, I think, if I'd heard before. But I think the fact that I went in completely blind and deaf, I guess, to what I was about to see, and then was just hit with I mean, the band was phenomenal. Like,
Oh, and
even when they weren't
yeah,
singing, like those guys were amazing. And the
yes,
music, the
yes.
style,
And
everything was beautiful.
it's the set design, the set production, very clever. I love. I love how the show starts. I mean, the show doesn't start in your
Yeah, the
typical
way he
fashion with an
introduces,
overture and a curtain rises and
so
all this
great.
stuff. No, no, no. It's very, I don't want to say audience interactive, but
Yeah,
it recognizes that they're on stage and that there is an audience.
right. Well,
Um,
they just walk out too. Like
yeah,
there's no
they
curtain. They
walk
all
out
kind
like
of
they're
walk out. And Leanne and I are sitting there, and Leanne goes, "Oh, hello." Like, where did these people come from? Like, the stage
I
is
guess
full of
it's
people.
starting.
It was really great. Yeah, they just started talking, and we're like, "Oh, hi."
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
and one of the best trombone parts for any
Oh my
any
gosh, he's so
musical.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just insane.
so
It's
great.
just everything
Another
about
character
it
in
is
trombone.
really great. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Just amazing.
It's a great show. Highly recommended.
So there's been a lot of stuff that has happened in pop culture. We obviously aren't going to have time to go into it all tonight. So in the upcoming shows, we've got a lot of different conversations we're going to have. Oscar nominees came out,
Oh, that's
which
right. And weren't the Grammys? Didn't the Grammys happen?
the Grammys are tonight, actually. So right after this, I believe, right? Yeah.
Oh, are
No,
they?
they were yesterday. My bad. What is today?
I was gonna say because I
Oh,
just
it's
I
today.
just I just
It's today. Some of the early ones have already been given out, like the audiobook,
ah
things like, but the big show
okay,
performances, all
audiobook.
that.
That's why I saw the headline that there's another EGOT.
Viola Davis. Yes, I was going to bring that up. It's funny. We're on the same page. We know what we're saying. Viola Davis with an EGOT. That's
Well
the Emmy,
deserved.
Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. She's won 2 Tonys, by the way.
Yeah,
So she was trying to replace that Grammy with an extra Tony, and it's like, no, it doesn't work.
doesn't count.
That's a T-tot. No, or no,
It's not
that's
an
not
ETOT.
E-tot. There you go. I couldn't figure out how to say it.
Well, I mean, I
But
guess you
yeah,
could put the two
for
T's
her
at the end.
audiobook,
Yacht. No.
there you go. She's
To
got
toe.
her
To toe.
Grammy now. She's only one of 18 people
Yeah,
to
it's
have
insane.
achieved that. So congratulations to her. That was pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I saw that and I was
Um,
happy.
yeah, so the Grammys just happened, and the rest of those will happen tonight. Oscar nominees, we're going to have a show about the Oscar nominees, and obviously we'll do an Oscar pre-show like we usually do. That's in March.
Hmm.
Another thing that we're going to cover in upcoming episodes, the DC shakeup. Lots of things happening
Oh
in
yes, and
the universe.
they
Uh,
announced a bunch of stuff too. Yeah.
yeah, and I have a lot of controversial opinions about that, so we'll
Oh, good. Hot takes. Hot takes.
I have some hot takes. Well, I think they're only hot takes for a certain audience of Snyder fans that live out there. Those are the ones that are going to be angry with me. But that's where we are. And then we're trying to get Tom Tennant in here for another Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we've got Quantumania coming out.
It keeps on going. That Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, there's some big stuff in store. So we're definitely have a lot to talk about when it comes to that, and it's going to be exciting. So that being said, we do have I've just lost the page that I was supposed to read off of. So give me 1 second here. This is not unusual for our show.
No, not at all.
We have some movie rentals to give away from Redbox and Paramount Pictures.
Yay.
And it is a little movie called Little Dixie with Frank Grillo, who I have become a very big fan of.
Frank Grillo's awesome.
I'm telling you what, he's done so ever since he's been in the Marvel movies. I love him in those. But then he did what's the name of the one that he did for Hulu that is like the
video game one?
Yeah, what was that called?
It's so good we forgot the title.
I know, but that was so great. Like that's another movie that was like under the radar and just ended up being really fun. That's
something level, boss level.
Boss level. Really, really good. Well, Frank Grillo is back. He's got a new movie coming out. It's from Paramount. It looks really good. Get ready for nonstop action with Little Dixie, now streaming on Redbox. Frank Grillo and Eric Dane star in this revenge thriller. An ex-Special Forces operative caught in the crosshairs of a corrupt governor and a ruthless drug lord. He fights to take down the cartel. Stream Little Dixie instantly on Redbox On Demand today, rated R from Paramount Pictures. And we would like to give someone a copy of that. So if you would
right here.
One, well, I tell you what, I'll give one away right now. We have one person in the chat. If they will just say hello, I'm going to give you a code. Somebody's in there offering.
There's a promotion. Oh wait, is that? Oh no, wait. I don't want to. No, we don't want to talk about a car warranty. I'm just
our one viewer at that moment is and it was a spam bot trying to sell us something. Isn't that hilarious? No, we know not a lot of people in the viewing audience right now, especially since we're just coming back from a hiatus. But also because we know that
my connection is going bad.
Yeah, you are getting a little choppy there. Our main audience is in the podcast audience, and so since there's nobody in our live audience right now, if you are listening to the podcast right now, all you got to do is go to our website, www.
I may have to come back.
Okay, you do that. WorldGoneGeek.com, and you'll see a little chat bubble down in the bottom corner. Click that little chat bubble and tell us who you are, your email, and that you would like to get a copy of Little Dixie. We will send you a code for that right away. So again, if you're in the chat audience right now, the first person to ask for one, I'm going to give you a Redbox code for Little Dixie. But if you're hearing this on the podcast, which lots of you are, the first 3 people to leave me a message there are going to get copies of it as well. So go leave us a chat there, and we'll see you then. Utah's back. Welcome. All right. I can hear you. Can you hear me? You are just choppy. Oh my gosh, is your connection bad? Because you're not responding to me. This is the internet, folks. Thank you. I lost him again. All right. So that was our promotion from Paramount. Thank you, Paramount, for providing those for us and for having faith in our little show. We appreciate that. Now I got to tell you a little bit about our guest, because I'm going to bring him on so that I have someone to talk to if I lose Utah. Continue to lose Utah all night. So here we go. Ryan Koo is our guest tonight. He is a comedian, actor, and musician from Seoul, South Korea. He has performed comedy clubs, colleges, universities, and festivals across the nation, such as the New York Comedy Festival and the Crazy Woke Asians Festival, where he received the Rising Star Award. Recently, he was one of the comedians on LMAOF Los Angeles, a comedy show on OnlyFans. So he's an OnlyFans star as well, I guess. But his a cappella cover of Spider-Man theme song is kind of where he went viral for a little while. People were really talking about that. It was featured on Inside the Magic, and we're going to play that right now, and then we're going to talk to him because I would love to do that. So here comes Ryan Koo with his little a cappella Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Thinks he's strong, listen bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame he ignores, action is his reward to him. Life is a great big pain, whenever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame he ignores, action is his reward to him. Life is a great big pain, whenever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.
All right, that is Ryan Koo with Spider-Man. Now we welcome to the show, Ryan Koo. Welcome, thank you.
Hi. Hey,
Oh,
Jeff. Good to see
hi.
you.
I'm good. Good to see you too. I lost my co-host somewhere in the middle. He keeps popping in and out. His internet is coming in and going.
It
So
happens. It
I
happens.
know.
At least I have one of you guys to talk to.
That's right.
Otherwise, this would have been a very weird podcast. It would have been
It
a
could have been.
solo episode.
It sure would. Yeah, and I would. Nobody wants to hear me talk to myself. I would do
No
it.
one
That's
wants.
the sad thing is I would continue, but it would be pretty. It would be pretty sad. Welcome to the show. I love that video. It's so funny because I've been following you on Facebook and Instagram and some of your comedy stuff there, and that's where I was like, okay, this guy is hilarious. We should talk to him. And when I told my co-host Utah about it, he's like, "Is that the same guy who did the Spider-Man thing?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't
Oh.
know." And I had never made that connection, but now we have. And so you said you even forgot that you did this in the chat here. How long ago was that?
Oh man. Well, before I answer that, so Utah saw the Spider-Man video, but you saw me from the stand-up videos. Is that
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Wow,
And it
that's
was
funny.
kind of a
Yeah, wow, yeah. Well, I mean, I look crazy different in that stand-up video. That's when I had shorter hair and I didn't shave for like months.
yeah.
Hey, Utah, you're
There he
back.
is. There he is.
Oh,
We
the
were.
internet pipes are so clogged up, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
It's okay. It happens. I mean, this is
Good
a
to
really
see you,
cool
Ryan.
setup, by the way. Good to see you
Oh,
too,
thank you.
Utah. Nice to meet you. Oh well, Jeff just asked me. Well, we just talked about how you knew me from my Spider-Man video, but Jeff knew me from my stand-up video. So it was like a weird moment when you guys realized that I was the same guy, I guess. Yeah.
And you do look
Yeah,
very different, as you said. Like
What
you
did
had
you say?
True.
totally different
Yeah,
hair. You got the
I
beard.
look way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you asked me when I made that Spider-Man video. It had to have been, I think, 2020. I think 2020, so maybe 2.5 to 3 years ago. It's been a
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
Was it a COVID project? A lot of people did those types of things when they were going stir crazy.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Do you guys watch Parks and Rec by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Ben got depressed and he started making claymation films or something?
Yes.
That was so the acapella project was like kind of my depressed claymation activity, so I would not go into like a downward spiral.
Sure.
So I made a bunch of acapella videos.
You
'cause it
did.
takes
Yeah, there
so
are a few of
long.
them.
Yeah, and all of them I arranged everything myself. I recorded every part. I edited
That's
everything.
amazing.
So it just took hours, but so it definitely took my mind off of like the world going to. I hope can I cuss?
I mean, yeah, so we're family friendly, but it's like PG-13.
Oh, okay.
I'll bleep it if it's really bad on our podcast.
No, I don't have to. I don't have to cuss. I don't have to
No,
cuss.
I mean,
So it took my mind off of the world, going
to crap.
going to shizzle, yeah, or
Yeah,
crap.
shizzle. Shizzle's good.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was my depressed activity. Yeah.
I feel you. For me, it was doing a ukulele cover every day.
yeah.
I did that for about a year, and it was just you needed a creative outlet or just something to distract you from, lockdown and just crap of COVID and everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
But granted, I didn't like do an Avengers theme a cappella with like how many tracks were in that Avengers a cappella? There was a crap load of
yeah.
there were so
that
many
one-
tracks you did.
Yeah, that one. I think there were over 30.
My gosh.
That one really took a toll on me.
I bet.
Yeah, but I was kind of addicted after a while. Like it was kind of like my routine, and I couldn't stop. But that one, after that really burnt me out a little bit. But yeah, that one had like over 30. And yeah, putting it all together was crazy. And at one moment, I like didn't save, so I lost a lot of stuff. So I had to do it again. Yeah, but that one was a lot of fun too.
It came out great.
Thank you. Yeah, those acapella videos. You'll notice how the sound and video gets better and better with each one because I was just experimenting.
Right.
So I really wish that in the earlier videos I have the knowledge now because I'm like, oh man, I could have done that one so much better. But it was like literally my first time trying to mix everything and edit everything. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there are a lot of things I learned along the way. So you're exactly right. Not only was the journey of doing something to keep you occupied, but also learning the skills to do that thing that was occupying you better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the video editing part I took for granted, and I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I didn't even realize. So
it's the worst. Looking up YouTube videos on how to do video editing. Oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah. How do I do this in Final Cut Pro? Is there a shortcut to this?
Yeah. And there's like the simplest thing. How can I make this square look proportional? And it's like so hard to figure that out.
Yep. Like I could have just used.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I could have just done Command Option whatever. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to. It's like a 20-minute video, and they explain it for like 10 seconds at like minute 14.
Right. Just a
and
little
Right.
like,
That's the worst part, right?
Yeah. Didn't you guys say you have one more host?
Yeah, Aaliyah. She is unfortunately she's not with us. She's in Philly with
She's
some
on assignment in Philadelphia.
She's on assignment. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, she. I don't even know if she was seeing family or something. We don't know why she's there, but we're missing her.
Maybe she's just trying to get away from us.
No, she's been away from us for like a month and a
half. Maybe she's not really in Philly. She's just
realized, man, this month and a half has been a relief to be away from those two.
She's actually just sitting at home watching Netflix. She's
the one person watching the stream right now.
You know what?
Right, exactly.
That's the sad thing because now it's down to 0, which means she's not watching. And I can't believe we should at least have Aaliyah watching, and she's not. So
that just means we can joke about her while she's not here to defend herself.
That's true.
Our audience is primarily the podcast listeners. We do this live because we love this atmosphere and it's just raw, and then we just put it out as a podcast. That's where most people, I think, pick it up. But
no, totally, yeah.
We get an audience in here, but again, I think right now this is our first one in over a month and a half, and I don't think
that's our first one of 2023.
They're like, oh, those guys are in there again. What is going on?
I wish I promoted it better. I saw the link like 2 hours ago, so I posted it on my story like 16 minutes ago, and only like 49 people saw it. And
that's okay. Well,
I think the one person,
I'll drop it as a podcast on Tuesday. I'll send you the links for that too, and if you could pass that along, people
Of
will
course,
listen
yeah.
up there. That's where a lot of people would
I
rather
think
do
the
it.
one person might actually be my mom.
Yay!
Right now?
Yay, Oma!
No, just kidding. She doesn't watch anything I do.
She doesn't approve of anything you've done.
No, she does not.
My mom doesn't watch the show either, but that's because she doesn't understand how to find it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though
So
I
that's a
told
different
her-
thing.
I showed her how to get to YouTube. I gave her an Apple TV. I tried to teach her how to use the technology, but yeah,
Well,
she
That's
As
better.
of
That's
yet.
better than having a mom who knows exactly how to find it and just choosing to
Right.
not watch it.
I guess
At
that's
least-
true. Yeah,
At least your mom has an excuse, Jeff.
yes,
Exactly.
that's true.
We know
Or
why.
does she? Or
they're
does
not
she?
watching.
Because she manages to watch. She manages to watch her, to get her church service on Sunday at home, so that she doesn't have to go in. So, and that's on YouTube. So come on, I gotta find out
Come
what's going
on.
on
So
there.
you're telling me your mom can figure it out for Jesus, but not us?
I guess
But
Wow.
not her
She can
only
figure it out for God's son, but not for her own son.
That's
Oh.
that's right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What's that about?
So tell us a little bit about you, Ryan. We want to. I mean, I know that you are doing stand up now. I know that you were a choir director or teacher at one point. Tell us kind of where did your journey? How did this journey start, and how did you end up in stand up comedy from there?
Yeah. Well, man. Every time I tell this story, I feel like it gets more boring. I try to make it better, but as I'm telling it, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I was listening to this, I would turn off the podcast. I'll try to make it shorter. Pretty much, I was honestly like forced to go into stand up. I was pretty much forced to quit my job because when the pandemic happened and we went into lockdown, you literally cannot do choir online. I mean, there's certain, like for math or like English, it's not too different. But for choir, the best part about it is being physically in the room together and
Sure.
making music and having that community. That's the best part, and that's why. And performances, that's why I got to teaching choir. Not to teach music theory or whatnot. I mean, that's important, but that's not the main reason. So after 2 years of not being able to do that, and having no choice, I had to find something else. And I was taking acting classes at the time, improv classes, and I was slowly just forced, like just ripped from my passion for choir, ripped away from me just slowly over time. And what is it? If the pandemic never happened, I would happily still be teaching choir and hopefully one day be like a college choir professor. That was the dream for the longest time until pretty much 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you were teaching high school, is that right?
High school, yeah. I taught at a private Catholic high school.
Awesome. Yeah, I know a little bit about what you're talking about. I do video production full time as my regular job, animation, and that kind of stuff. But I was teaching on the side at a media school here in Cleveland. And when the pandemic happened, I was teaching video production, like hands-on with cameras and white balance and all this stuff. And they're trying to get me to do it through Zoom.
Yeah.
And people, they don't have the equipment. And I basically would give them assignments. I mean, I was able to teach some of the editing techniques and editing assignments I could give them, but they were shooting commercials on their phones, and and some of them didn't even have computers. They were on their phones, so they would have to edit on their phones. And so I was like, these kids can't. They need to get into a studio so they can have access to this equipment and to the software, and things like that. And so yeah, it got really difficult. So I had to stop then too. And it was hard, yeah, because it's a lot of fun to do that. But I felt like I was kind of everything they were asking me to do. I felt like I was kind of cheating the students a little bit. You know what I mean? I felt like I can't give them what they are paying for, kind of. You know what I mean? In this environment,
Yeah.
and I felt bad. So it is what it is.
Well, this
I
your
didn't go
guys'
to stand-up. I didn't know that was an option, but
yeah, we could go into Zoom stand up, but I want to give you guys some juicy stories for your podcast. the principal actually had like a big problem with me during this time too. So what is it? That also played a factor because I'm like, well, I don't even want to come back.
Oh wow.
Oh no.
It all started with a Zoom meeting. We had a faculty Zoom meeting, and I was eating. Well, before the meeting started, or maybe the meeting was in session. But anyways, but people had their screens off. People were driving. People were watching TV. So
People were
it wasn't like
driving.
everyone. Yeah, it wasn't like everyone was paying attention, and then I was the only guy eating. You know, I'm like, okay, well, we could multitask. It's one of those meetings, and he pretty much chewed me out in front of everyone. And you know, and I got it. I'm like, you know what? I understand. So I apologized and whatnot. But then after that, I think he held like a grudge because he like I had me come to his office and he put me on probation for like these things that happened like last year and the details were twisted. The worst
Wow.
one was I had a choir Instagram where I would post like funny videos from rehearsal, and this student commented, "I'm dead," with a skull emoji, which
Yeah.
means this is so funny,
It's
right?
funny, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He called his parents and said, "Is your son suicidal?"
Oh come on.
Because right?
I
I'm
mean,
like,
it is.
and that's when
It's
I
a
know
new.
like really like
That's
so
how
it's
these young
obviously
people
like
are
a power
talking.
trip. Yeah. So that also
Interesting.
made me like, well, I'm not really feeling this either.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Wow.
All you were doing was like mukbang or ASMR. Come on.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like if you didn't like it, just turn it off.
Yeah. I think he wanted to use me as an example, but I don't know. And also, it kind of hurt a lot because I did a bunch of stuff outside of what I had to do, like spend money out of my pocket. I was editing all these videos, extra rehearsals, all that, and you know, like I didn't really feel appreciated either. So,
Hmm.
Yeah. I
but the
don't blame
funny
you for
thing is,
leaving.
when I told him, I'm not going to come back, he's like, I think I was like pretty effective at my job, especially compared to the choir teachers they had in the past. When I told him I wasn't going to come back, he says, "What can I do to get you to stay?"
Maybe not be.
And you said, you can leave?
That's
So
crazy.
yeah,
Well, how did stand up then start? Were you doing that online, or was we starting to come back into into
The
venues
real
again when you
world?
started? How did yeah,
yeah,
how did
no.
that?
Stand up, I started over Zoom. I pretty much took a stand up class because I really enjoyed taking improv classes, but I was getting tired of them. But I still wanted to do something comedy related. So I took a stand up 101 class with a guy named Marshall Givens on with Second City. And
Oh, wow.
it was like a 5 week class. And we just wrote like 3 minutes of material every week. And but the funny thing is, I realized when I was in that class, I've been kind of doing stand up for a very long time because in high school, college, even middle school, I was always put in positions where I had to recruit people or I had to go into a room full of people I never met and kind of sell them something or recruit them for something or give a pitch for something. Like in college, I was in charge of recruiting people into the choir program. But you know, if you're a college guy, you don't care about choir, you know? So I knew that, so I just tried to make everything as funny as possible. And I wrote down everything that I was gonna say and I tried to make it as funny as possible. And I would like kill. Like everyone in the room would laugh. They would laugh harder than me doing stand up today. And so I realized that, oh, I've been doing stand up. I just was talking about choir, and now I can just talk about whatever I want. You
Well,
know,
if they were
that was
laughing
my skill.
harder, if they were laughing harder then, have you ever been tempted to just like walk into
Recycle
an open
the.
mic and just pitch the choir recruitment again?
That I mean, I never thought about it, but I'm
People would be
curious
like,
how
"What
that
is
would go.
happening?"
Yeah, because they have to understand. Yeah, I mean, there were like a lot of inside choir jokes too, but I should try it one day. And I mean, they don't laugh at me right now anyway, so
Oh, I don't know.
won't
That's
hurt.
not
It won't
that's
hurt.
not true, Ryan. I've seen some of your Instagram reels and clips. There's some funny stuff there. People are laughing.
They're all laugh tracks.
you
No,
don't understand. No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're not
Yeah.
laugh tracks.
He's putting his video editing skills to good use.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's why when you see the video, there's like 2 people in the audience, but it sounds like the laugh is coming from a stadium.
From over there. That's right. Wow, that's like a really big venue. That sounds like
It's at a coffee shop, but it sounds like they're at the garden. you know?
right.
Now, I think some of that stuff is funny. I love your. I mean, so there are a lot of people obviously doing stand-up comedy, but it really comes down to their delivery. Like, there's some people who are just they could tell the same joke as someone else, but the way they tell it and how they deliver it is just funnier. It's just, you just love to hear the way they do it. And I think I like your approach, especially when you feel like, or you people are laughing, but they're not laughing as much as you had hoped. And then you get them laughing more by like calling them out on that kind of stuff. Like you're put out by, I just love that that style of humor. I think it's just really funny.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, because I think that's kind of
Because that means one person.
Well, that's why, because that's kind of like a nuanced sense of humor, you know? Like, it's not like a classical like setup joke. So, you know, yeah, I also have a very dry, self-deprecating sense of humor. But sometimes it gets too self-deprecating, so people start to feel uncomfortable, and it always
and then that becomes funny
best.
too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. The best situation for me is when half the room gets it and the other half don't. That's when I enjoy it the most, because it has like that tension, you know, like, and I love that vibe of like, half the people are like, oh yeah, I know what this guy's doing, it's funny, and the other half of the room's like this guy's an idiot. Why is he here? You know, all these guys that are laughing must be his family members. Yeah.
But they aren't, because your mom won't come to the show, you said, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's just it's a whole bunch of aunties and uncles, you know, and cousins.
Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, I definitely like it when I'm bombing, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But most of the times it works, yeah. But there are times where it doesn't work and it gets like, yeah.
Well, you're the first comedian we've had on, and he's the first like comedian we've had, right? Like, there's been other
comedian, or
I don't think we've had a stand-up on the show before.
I'm not exactly
You
sure.
know,
Well, you guys think I'm a comedian?
Yeah. But I've wanted to ask, because I watch a lot of comedians through Instagram. I mean, I think that's really where a lot of people are going now to kind of like get their talent out there. And so I've been following several different people, and I found it seems like do you feel like it's tough to be a comedian these days, or stand-up comic, because there's two I guess walls on either side that you have to avoid. One is that you have to avoid saying something that might offend a group of people, and then you know that you have to be careful to find humor that isn't necessarily gonna, you know, denigrate another person. But then on the other side, even if you are not being offensive, there are people who will rush the stage. Or I don't know if you saw the clip of the I'm blanking on her name, where he threw it's a female comedian, and they threw a beer.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw it.
She's like, she's badass. Awesome. She just picks it up and drinks it.
Yeah.
And I was like, the presence of mind to do that was just like great. It reminded me of that Waffle House person who like deflected.
Oh yeah, we just caught the chair.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. But I saw the
Yeah.
beer one. I'm like, holy cow, that probably could have. It might have like
That could have
killed
been
her,
worse.
'cause it was
Right.
a full beer. Yeah,
So it's
and
like
she
Could've
threw
been
it
worse.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
feel like
was
it's a dangerous profession to be in now because of those kind of two extremes. And it's like, how do you ride that line in the middle where you can still be funny and not
Yeah.
anger people enough on either to get a beer
Right.
thrown at you or canceled on Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Twitter.
I think that yeah, there was definitely a time earlier in the earlier stages when I was doing stand up where I was like, man, I don't want to be seen as a sellout. I don't want to be seen as a guy who's, a hack for making Asian jokes. But I realized that most of the times, well, at least for me, no, well, most of the, I realized that the people that do get mad at jokes like that, they tend to see everything in black and white. As in, if they just hear the word Asian in a joke, or if they just hear the word, if they just hear a race, if they just hear a stereotype, they automatically just go, "You're a hack." They don't really see the nuances of the joke. They don't really see how the joke is being delivered, the content of the joke. They don't even want to analyze it. They're just kind of like trigger happy. So
Right.
that's when I realized, well, that means no matter what I say, if I just talk about my race, which is Asian, they're gonna think I'm a hack anyway. So I realized like, oh well, as long as the reasonable people can kind of see what I'm doing, that's fine because they're logical. But I can't appease to a group of people that is, illogical, I suppose. So that's kind of what made it better. Funny story, actually. There was a guy in my improv group who I'm not in the improv group anymore, but he would kind of say like, no matter what, if you talk about your race when you're doing stand up, you're a hack. So he was pretty much calling me a hack. And we were at a restaurant, we were at a Chinese restaurant, and we were just talking about how like, yeah, like it doesn't matter. Don't talk about being Asian, even if you're Asian, because that's hacky. You shouldn't do that or something. And then he ordered, and I thought I thought this was funny. And then he ordered orange chicken, but then he told me, yeah, people think orange chicken is so stereotypical, but I'm like, well, if it's good and I like it, I'm gonna get it. So I'm like, well, that's kind of what I'm sort of doing, in a weird like metaphorical way. But I thought I was like, oh well, I'm just kind of eating orange chicken too, not because I think it's racist, but because I like it and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
So just like you're eating orange chicken because you think it's good, I'm saying Asian jokes in what I don't in a way that I don't think it's in a hacky way because I think it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, aren't you supposed to find kind of humor in your life and where you are? And if that's who you are, I don't understand why you wouldn't, especially, when it comes to, well, one of the first jokes I think I saw you tell was about a woman who asked if you were from North Korea or South Korea.
Oh yeah.
And then I won't like tell your joke for you, but I mean, I loved that delivery made me just crack up. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so funny. I mean, just the funny things that people say. And I don't think that lady probably, she's just innocently asking. She's not trying to be racist or anything.
Yeah.
And you just handled it in like such a fun way. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And most of the times, my jokes are kind of based off actual stuff I've experienced. So I've been asked if I'm from North or South Korea so many times, and I'm always thinking to myself like, wow, like they really don't know that North Korea is like a place that you don't get to leave, like it's like this crazy country with a crazy dictator who's like making people think he's a god. So I always thought that was funny. So
yeah. They don't have a stand-up exchange program with America or anything.
Yeah,
like we send comedians over there, and they send comedians here. We just
they come over in balloons.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, I think I think, and also I think all comedians of all races talk about their race, not because they're trying to find easy jokes, but because your race is such a huge part of your identity that,
Mhm.
I mean, black comedians talk about being black all the time. White comedians talk about being white all the time. Asian comedians talk about being Asian all the time. It's kind of a thing in stand-up. It's not like a new thing that just came out. It's been happening since pretty much the start of stand-up. People talk about their lives, and of
Right.
course they're going to talk about their life in the perspective of the race they are. So it's
Sure.
kind of inevitable. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make sense if I started talking about like like being a black person or something. I should only talk about being an Asian person.
Right.
I mean, that's what you know best.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things I've noticed a lot of videos from comedians now, there's a like a huge influx of crowd work videos. Like that's where people are, I guess, I don't know if it's just because audiences are getting more like vocal and like out of control. And so they're constantly having to like address that or what, but how has your experience been as far as like hecklers and crowds and things like that when you're trying to
Yeah.
engage?
I think most comedians put up crowd work so they don't have to put up their material,
Mm.
Cause like even for me, I have some jokes that I put up where now a bunch of people heard it. So now when they come see me and they already know the punchline, they already know the joke, so it's not as fun for them.
Mm.
So, but crowd work, it's different every time, and it's in the moment, spontaneous. So it's just an easy way to get content without sacrificing your jokes in the sense that they won't be fresh anymore once you post it. But yeah. So I think that's crowd work. But I love doing crowd work too. I always enjoy doing crowd work. I try to do crowd work as much as I can. Not, and I'm never thinking like, oh, because I need content, but it's just fun. I always like it when the audience is kind of involved in some way. Yeah.
Have you had any like really negative heckler experiences, or has it mostly been positive?
Yeah, my mom threw a beer can at me. um, I didn't have a weird. No, I definitely had weird ones, but nothing that I can think of where it was like hateful. The weirdest one was it was at a diner which had a theater room in the back. What was the diner called? It was some deli, Longers, I think. Some deli, some famous deli. And the comic before me was yelling at this woman, but she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend started yelling at the comic, and they almost got into a fight. And I stopped it. Oh, I didn't stop it. I was like, hey, come on. I was trying to calm down the comedian. It's okay, guys, whatever. So it cooled down, and then I was up next. And then as a joke, I said to the woman, hey, I came to your rescue. I helped you out back there. I think that was pretty brave. And she was really drunk, but she came up on stage and she started dry humping my leg. But no one would help me. And I didn't know what to do in that position either, so I just stood there. And she was really drunk though, but she was like really dry humping my leg, and that went on for like 30 seconds of everyone in the room just silent and me silent too. And we just heard like her jeans rubbing against my jeans.
The rubbing of the
like this sound.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that was the weirdest one. I wish I recorded it. That was the one night that I decided not to record. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been. And her boyfriend just sat there and watched this and listened to this happen.
Kicked out by.
I think the boyfriend got kicked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was kicked out.
Yeah, he was.
She stayed.
She stayed. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, okay.
I think you probably hit on where a lot of that kind of behavior comes from, is that most of these events and venues, there's quite a bit of alcohol,
Yeah.
being served as well. And so, and then they're throwing it at the comedian. So What are you gonna do?
Oh, I know. Let's see. Did I have another weird one? I feel like I did. Oh, no, not that. No, I think, but that's the
That's
weirdest
not
one.
weird.
That's the weirdest one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope boy, if there's anything weirder than that, I don't know if it's gonna be okay to talk about on the show.
Well, the
But,
sad
perhaps
thing is that moment was the most intimate I've ever been with a woman. So it was kind of nice, I guess.
So there's always a silver lining.
Yeah.
Take the positive.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
did you get her number or no?
No. She said, what did she say? She sobered up, and then she realized she wanted nothing to do with me. Yeah.
No.
well, that's another area of humor I feel like that you are exceptionally funny at is and that your approach, like the way you just delivered that just now was like that's what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of your like podcast episodes where you've got women trying to help you work on your talking to women game.
Yeah.
And
Jeff, that was redundant.
Yeah. I guess
talking to women game is like pin number. It's the same thing.
That's funny.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I find a lot of those really hilarious. I actually was hoping Aaliyah was going to be here. I thought maybe she would.
She would have been perfect. Yes,
to help you with that.
Well, we could do it right now. I always. The funny thing about that is I didn't do that for the podcast. I've always done that ever since high school, and not as a joke. Always because I was genuinely like, no, I need help. But as they were helping me, I just thought it would be funny if I like kind of made it a little goofy. But sure. I always enjoy doing stuff like that. So I did that long before the podcast. But if you guys want to do one now, I would happily like to. And I really am a horrible dater though. Like really, I'm bad at dating. I actually got rejected just a week ago. So it comes, the curiosity and the want to do these improv exercises also come from a genuine cry for help as well. You know?
Well, I think the problem is that well, I mean, Utah and I are both married, so it did work out for us eventually at one point. But I still feel like
blind squirrel will find a nut somehow.
Right. I wouldn't have any idea how to respond, or like I couldn't play the other role because I don't know what they're thinking either. I've been married for 30 years this year, and you know, I love her to death. She's still a mystery though in some ways.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's
You're saying that because she's right next. No. She's right there. She's right over there.
That Aaliyah was here because Aaliyah's young. I feel like we could really give.
Yeah, Aaliyah would be perfect for it.
Yeah,
that just means we have to have you back.
Yeah, I'm always down. I love doing podcasts. I'd be down and to meet Aaliyah. Well, I mean, I'll ask you guys. I think you guys talked to me for about an hour now. I think that my guess on why women don't find me attractive enough to date, you know? Well, actually, like women might find me like kind of attractive at like a first glance level, but it's always when they get to know me better that I feel them slipping away. And I think it's because I'm just not, I think I'm very not assertive. And women really like assertive guys.
I guess it depends on the woman. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. And then how do you know, right? Which ones? Because then you find one that and then you try to be assertive, and they were somebody who didn't want anything to do with that. So you're always, it's like a gamble every time, right?
But I feel like assertiveness is like one of those universal traits all women like.
Okay.
Don't you think so? Don't you think all women would prefer an assertive, not like a abusive guy?
Yeah,
but
not bossy,
but someone,
yeah, not wishy-washy, right? Just kind of
knows.
Yeah,
I'm very wishy-washy, but the wishy-washiness doesn't come from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of I would rather have them be happy, I guess.
Yeah, you
I wasn't
genuinely want to please them, right? You you genuinely want them.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and they don't
I don't
see it
think
that way.
girls like that. Exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't come off like that. Yeah, so
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. I don't know how it is with you and Kara in Utah, but here we have similar. Just even the discussion of what show do you want to watch tonight, or what food are we gonna to get, and it's like if you're assertive and you know what you want, and it's not what they want, then
Then,
there,
well, that's
there's a
when you don't ask. You just say, "We're going to watch this tonight," or "We're going to have this for dinner."
oh, maybe I should do that.
I just sit here and I just kind of sit here and go, "Yes, dear." That's
Well, but the thing is, once
sounds
you get
good, dear.
married, I feel like once you get married, that's when women don't want you to be assertive anymore.
there's like
That's
this
when you-
weird kind of graph where it's like
Yeah.
they want some assertiveness, but then it goes down once you're in
Yeah.
once you're engaged, and then it goes down a little bit. And then once you're married, it's like way down there.
Exactly. Once you're married, you just say yes, ma'am, and nothing
It's
else.
the whole cliche where
It is, right?
What do you want to eat? What do you want for dinner?
I don't know. What do you
We're
want?
gonna go out. We're gonna go to fast food. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I'll eat anything. What do you want? Okay, how about Arby's? No, I don't feel like Arby's.
Nah, yeah.
Okay. How about Taco Bell? Well, no, I don't really. Taco Bell always makes me feel sick. Okay, let's go to Wendy's. Like, no, Wendy's is. It's too
Nah, I
far
don't like
away.
I don't like redheads.
Yeah. And then
Right, it's like, well, I thought you said you didn't care.
I don't care. Yeah, and it's just like a circle forever. That's you think that's a cliche, and but we have
No, but
had
it really happens. Yes,
but it goes the other way too. Like she asks me, and I'm the same way. And I think I think you're not wrong, Ryan. I think it does, at least in our relationship. I feel like it does come from a place of, we get frustrated with each other for not making a decision, but it comes from a place of, no, I really do want what you want.
It's whatever makes you happy.
At the same time, I still do have preferences that don't match every time. So it's like, finding that balance is really difficult.
Yeah.
And we fight, not argue or fight, but our conflicts are over like what show we're going to watch, because we have, we might have a couple of different shows that we're binging. And so we'll sit down and it's like, okay, it's time to watch a show. And it's like, well, which one do you want to watch? I don't care, whichever. And then it's like, all right, well, let's
even
do
even having someone to have that argument with is a blessing.
Yeah, it is. Not even, yes, no, I 100% agree.
I can watch whatever I want, but I would rather argue with someone about what
Just
to
to have a disagreement.
I would rather have someone to be in a disagreement with than be
100%.
alone.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, no, that is a goal to achieve and to seek out for sure. No question.
Yeah, but I came to peace with it. I think some men are meant to traverse this valley alone, and if that's my destiny, then so be it.
Now, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 30.
30. Okay. All right. So you're just I'm old enough to be your dad. Basically. But
that was such a great reaction. Oh, you're 30. Okay. Yeah. Well.
I always regret asking that question to people. I don't know why.
That's so encouraging, Jeff. I don't know why.
But well, you're older. You're a year older than me, so I don't want to even know how that makes
I am the old man in the room. Yes.
Oh, how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I turned. Well, yeah. You go first, Jeff. Go ahead.
Well, you're just gonna make up a year after I give my no. So I just turned 50 last year. So.
Oh wow! Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
So,
I'll be 52 in March.
And see,
okay.
and Aaliyah is young. She's like 28 or whatever. She's the youngster in our group. So she's kind of like, so we're the old, we represent the nostalgic old part of the pop culture, discussion. She's the new blood coming in, talking about,
okay.
all the.
Well, Yeah.
she keeps us honest about whether or not the stuff that we're talking about is just we're just
Does
blinded
it hold
by
up?
or
Yeah.
if is it still good.
Was it?
Okay.
Is it still really good, or are we just blinded by our childhood nostalgia?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I was kind of thrown off when you guys said, "Do you know anything about the Civil War?" And I was like, "Well, okay. What? I
Those
have
were the days.
Well, I was thinking because this might actually be helpful because in the future, if I do get married or engaged, I will have to meet my in-laws, and the first impression with the in-laws is very important.
Oh,
So what if
well,
I?
number one, you should have a Hyundai Tucson.
Oh, you guys saw that? Yeah, that was a
That's
fun one.
great.
That was yeah.
So
That was yeah.
now, was
Yeah,
that for Hyundai Korea?
it was for the Asian channels in America.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So all the Asian channels in the United States, that's where it's gonna air. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. I was talking to Jeff earlier. I find it interesting that Hyundai USA has basically the same commercial. Have you seen it where it's like the family adopts a dog and the father just doesn't want a dog and it's like 1,000 miles, but then they jump up to like 41,000 miles and now the dad and the
Oh.
dog are grown up and older and they're best friends now, like playing fetch.
So
And I
it's a
just
dog
found it
or son-in-law,
Oh.
apparently.
right. So I found it interesting that Hyundai did the exact same concept, except instead of a father and a dog, it's a father and the son-in-law.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that. I
You've
didn't know
played a
that.
fiance on TV now, so you can.
Oh yeah, that's true. You've been married on television, right? Or were you just engaged in that
Were they married or a
commercial?
fiance? Yeah, it wasn't.
I think no, we were engaged. We were engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
trying to impress the father-in-law in that commercial. So you got a little
Exactly.
bit of practice.
Yeah, a little bit of practice, but
I like the fishing
yeah.
rod gag at the end. That was cute.
Oh, thank you. Well, the saddest part about that is Julianne, who plays my wife or my fiance. I'm actually seeing her later tonight. We're gonna watch Bobby Lee at the Hollywood Improv.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, the on set, she comes up to me. She puts her hand on my shoulder, and she said, "Acting like I'm in love with you was the most difficult acting challenge I have ever done." And I said, "Thank you, Julie, and I'm sorry." She said, I'm a method actor,
Method.
but even I have limits."
I don't believe a word of that.
Oh, wow. She deserves an Oscar.
That's what, yeah, she does.
Is she
No,
so is it still method acting tonight when you guys hang out at the show or
probably,
do you not know? Is it hard to tell?
yeah. Well, probably still gonna be method acting. I owe her some money, and I said I won't give it back until we meet in person. So
Yeah, see, there you go. No, that's fair. That's fair. Hey,
yeah,
all's fair in love and war.
that's true. Wished I could experience the love part.
Yeah, well, the Civil War was overrated.
It was neither civil nor war.
Nor a war.
Yeah, that was the. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, no, good luck with that. I hope that. I mean, it sounds like maybe you guys are just going as friends, but you never know. Like my wife and I started out as best friends. You never know. That may be
Oh,
where it starts. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, if she can act like she's in love with me, maybe she'll be able to love me in real life as well. But
I mean, you know, a lifetime of method. That's happened before. That's possible, right? I mean, I don't know.
she said I played an octopus in my last Shakespearean play. But playing a woman who loves you.
Tougher than that. It's easier to pretend I have multiple appendages than
Than to look at you and smile without grimacing.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the real question is, though, then the actor who played your father-in-law, was he method acting too, or?
I do well with parents. I do well with everyone except romantic
Except,
partner. Except romantic
oh,
partner. I really
interesting.
don't get it, guys. It's
So you're
fine.
the guy that they want to take home to. You're the guy they want to take home to meet mom and dad, but that's it.
At least
Well,
in the commercial.
like if it I, like I ye I'm just very smooth and charming and charismatic when I talk to like parents, but when it's talking to the my partner or a prospective romantic interest, that's when it all goes to shambles. Yeah.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
harder.
and I don't think the recommendation of pretending your date is their parents would work. That just seems really creepy, right?
Right.
It just
I mean,
doesn't. Yeah.
I tried something similar. I'm like, what if I treat her like my friend? My friends like me, so I'll try to treat her like that. I try to fool myself and try to incorporate some Meissner acting styles, but I don't know what it is.
Well, I feel like
I
that's, I mean, and I guess it depends on the woman, but it's like, I feel like that's, like I said, my wife and I were friends before, of course, she'll tell you that I guess she tells the story that that's not how it was, that she was interested from the start, I guess.
How funny her story is different than yours, Jeff, huh?
Yeah. And that's not to say I wasn't also interested. My point is that we were just friends, though. Like we weren't pursuing that kind of
I think based on her story, you were just totally clueless, and she just had to smack you
That's what
upside the
she
head.
says, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting back with my popcorn. Woo! That's how far back we go.
But we were best friends. We were doing all kinds of stuff as friends, and it just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, I don't know.
Well, that's what confuses me, because I wouldn't mind having a relationship start out of friendship. But what's the difference between a platonic girl-boy relationship and a relationship where two people are agreed to date each other?
I think the pressure is off, and you can be yourself. Like you were saying, it's a lot easier for you to talk to a friend than a romantic interest. It's like when you take that off the table, well, it's kind of like, did you ever see When Harry Met Sally? And the whole joke is that men and women can't be friends. Men and women
can't be friends.
That's a good point. You're right.
The thing. But if you take that romantic interest off the table, maybe we can just be friends. And then you start to realize, I want to be with my friend forever, and I think we should be more than friends. And then it kind of blossoms from there, maybe. I don't know.
That's a great point.
But
men, yeah. No, but that makes sense. But I think men or women, they want to have that status, like we are dating, because it's more secure and safe.
Right.
And wow,
yeah. It's interesting.
That's what I need to change. Yeah. Just
be
friends.
Nothing. I got nothing. I just sit here in the attic with my toys and my collectibles.
Family downstairs.
And then at some point I go downstairs and actually interact with my family.
Oh, okay. Well,
and then I come back upstairs.
If I thought of it beforehand, I could have asked my daughters for some advice to give you. But so I have 3 daughters. One of them is married now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that was an interesting process. And
why?
But
it was an interesting process.
It was just, because now she doesn't live here, and it's odd. Like it's just a process of like realizing that she lives somewhere else and that someone else is taking care of her now. And it didn't help that when they were dating, during the pandemic, my daughter was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she's fine now. But she did have to go through chemo and all that stuff during the pandemic. And I'm her dad, and I want to take care of her. I want to be the one who protects her. And she had him too. And so I'm like, you know, and I'm
You had to
grateful that she did have him, and I think that he was great at helping her get through that, but it's hard to watch as a father and be like, somebody else is doing my job.
That's
right,
true.
right. The fact
That's
that you had to
true.
defer was very difficult because
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
not something that you're used to.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
he's a great guy.
Yeah,
And just
No,
part of
yeah.
it now, but yeah.
he's wonderful.
It's yeah. It's I bet it's hard because you know you'll do everything you can to help
Mhm.
her. So you know that for sure, but it's hard to think, well, would anyone else be willing to do more than me or just the same amount?
Yeah.
Um, well, hopefully,
N-
you guys both have that person already, but hopefully I'll have someone that may be willing to do that for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're gonna start a hashtag. We need to start
Well,
a
I
hashtag.
mean, this started out, I think you were kind of getting around to asking like what it would take to impress the fathers. And I think for me, that's what it is. I need to know that you care about her enough to that, you know what I mean? That as far as I'm concerned, you will never care about her more than I do, but I want you to try to convince me that you would. Do you know what I mean?
Well, why
I
don't we
still have
try
to
that?
convince you.
What if I was your one of your daughter's fiance, and my goal is I have to prove to my father-in-law that I'm going to protect his daughter and love his daughter as much as I can. So this is like the first dinner, and I'll
Okay,
try to convince you, and you can
this is
tell me if yeah, you can tell
this
me
is
if I did a
sounding
good
a
job.
lot. This is sounding a lot like the plot for Megan, that movie that just came out, where the doll is like tasked with protecting the little girl at whatever cost and starts
Yeah.
murdering people.
That was
Yeah.
a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. First advice, don't go as far as Megan to protect her. That's not how far.
That's not impressing the father is what you're
That's
saying, Joe?
one of my students,
But
by
you
the
aren't going to
way.
be around long to take care of her. You'll be in prison.
By the way, Vance Vasquez is one of my old students.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, Vance.
Hey,
Thanks for
very
watching.
cool.
He's my biggest fan.
That's pretty awesome. See that speaks a lot that students are still seeking you out
Well,
even after.
right?
I
It
mean,
definitely says what kind of teacher that you were.
yeah.
Well, I think it's because they probably think I'm going through like a midlife crisis. So it's kind of like watching a bad car accident. You want to look away, but you can't. So they're drawn
Although
to me.
maybe this is what you should. It should be a reality show, and you should just record your descent into whatever you're descending into. Because, like you said, maybe people would just can't turn away. There you go. See,
That's true.
that speaks volumes.
No,
We need to
Vance
put that
is
all.
just
We need to put that all over the place. I think women would love
Vance
to date the. I think women would love to date the greatest music teacher of all time.
Yeah.
out of
You need Vance to be your hype man. That's what.
Yeah, you need a hype man. I think Vance is your hype man.
out of the 300 students I taught, only one of them came
Only
back.
one showed up.
Well, Vance is the real one. Thanks for being here, Vance. I think
Yeah.
what if we did, so you've given me an idea, Utah. What if we'd started a reality show? It could be online, called Mary Ryan Koo, and we could have different, people kind of and practice, you could practice on different women to try to find something in common. And you know what I mean? It doesn't work or whatever, but it could be an interesting experiment for you to be kind of see what's working and what isn't. Because I guess my first question is, where are you meeting? Like, how do you meet? I mean, obviously you met one on a job together, but yeah, where do you get a chance to go out and kind of meet people, or are you busy doing this all the time?
I didn't date anyone for 6 years. So I recently went on the apps like 2 months ago, and I went on like one date with a girl, but I don't think the apps are for me. I always but the apps, you have to have a killer opening line, you know? So I always, if I match with someone, I always say, hey, are you a transformer? Because I think you're a Hotobot. And none of them ever respond. So if they're not going to respond to a killer line like that, there's no hope.
Standing ovation from Utah.
I need to write that down because holy cow, that's fantastic.
You know what? I mean, there's
Right?
a specific audience. There's a specific type of woman that you're looking for that would respond to that, right? And they're probably someone who's a Transformers fan, or at least gets the reference right off the bat and doesn't have to think about it or Google it. So
I will say this. Out of the 2 dates I went on, one of them asked me if I was on the spectrum. So I think I'm also doing.
Is that a multivitamin?
So I don't know what I'm doing or saying, but I think I'm kind of giving off that vibe as well. So
Interesting.
what do you guys think? Can you guys see how some people may perceive me that way based on our interactions thus far?
Personally.
I perceive you as a pretty cool middle-aged Asian guy, so you know.
Not middle-aged.
And this is coming from an old Asian guy, so I'm not sure if that's quite the compliment you want to look for, but
yeah. Well, there's
maybe was she asking about cable, Spectrum cable? Maybe that was it. No? I don't know.
No,
You're the worst. You're the worst. Maybe that's why it didn't work out. She actually was referring to the cable.
She was referring to the Spectrum of cable company, and she had a bad experience. Therefore,
well, I'll say this much: if I ever see her again, she won't be getting a box of chocolates from me.
There you go. That's the spirit. That was being assertive too. So good on you.
There you go. Yeah. If you're assertive on the way out.
Did you guys get that reference? That was the Forrest Gump reference.
Right. There's a box of because you never know what you're gonna. Yeah.
I said that to someone else recently, but I don't think they got it. Yeah.
Had they seen the movie?
That's what I mean. Sometimes it's too dry. Probably
right.
not. But that's what I mean. That's really dry, you know. So
of course, if you were making Forrest, if you were sounding like Forrest Gump, that may have been why she asked if you were on the spectrum. I don't know.
That's fair.
Like
that's fair.
Well, that's an interesting point because people. I don't think I have an attractive voice either. Like I'm not. This is not a joke. 2 people that don't know each other on 2 separate occasions said I sound like a gay robot.
What? I don't even know what that means.
I know, but I mean, if 2 different people said it,
you don't sound like C3PO.
Right.
Well, I sound like a gay C3PO.
Oh my god!
I sound like if C3PO had a homosexual chip in his programming.
Oh my
that
gosh.
is.
That is
funny.
the weirdest thing I've ever heard somebody say. Like that would
I
don't even know how to take that.
I don't know either.
Do you have the same sort of speaking voice? Do you speak Korean, and do you have the same outside of the commercial? Because I know that you spoke Korean in the commercial, but do you think you sound the same in Korean? Do you sound like a gay robot when you speak Korean too, or?
No, in Korean I don't think I do, but when I speak English, I don't know why, but I talk kind of slow. It's kind of monotonous and it's kind of like nasally, so maybe that's why. But
I mean, lots of people talk like that.
Well, are they all single like me?
Well, that's a good question. That should be I don't know, maybe.
But who knows?
So kind of, I'm going to kind of move the subject back to what Utah said there, and that you spoke Korean in the commercial. Did you grow up in Korea and moved here? Did you grow up here? Like, where did you, and was it North Korea or South Korea?
It was East Korea.
I heard that's the best Korea is the East.
Yeah. I was born in South Korea. I moved to LA when I was 7 years old, and I've been here ever since. I didn't really use where I grew up. Not a lot of Korean speakers, so I kind of lost a lot of it,
Mm.
and I didn't go to Korean school because I didn't like it. Yeah, so I was born in Korea for a good chunk of my life, but I lost a lot of that culture because when I moved here, I was just there weren't a lot of Korean people around me, so I was just kind of forced to kind of adopt. And like I grew up with a lot of Filipinos, Mexicans, Armenians. I actually grew up in Glendale, so I
Oh,
probably have a lot of those cultures in me. Yeah.
Mm.
that's interesting
Interesting.
because that kind of reflects my experience. I was born in Taiwan and moved
Um,
here to America with when I was 3, and
okay.
so I basically grew up here in America, and so um, I don't have a lot of Taiwanese culture kind of oozing out of me, and I also don't speak a lot of Taiwanese, if at all. So if Hyundai came up to me to do a Taiwanese ad, I would have butchered it all completely. I would have asked them, can you just do that CGI thing with my mouth and have somebody else do a voiceover?
Well,
Because there's
yeah.
no way I'm gonna.
Well, when I say "안녕하세요" in the spot, and my accent's really thick, so native Korean speakers will know. Oh, this guy, he's not a native speaker. Yeah,
This guy is not native. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Interesting.
a fraud.
Is that the only line you have in there?
No, I have a lot of lines. Well, actually, funny thing is, I was supposed to only speak Korean in that spot, but I think my Korean was so bad they switched it to English. No,
They switched it
seriously.
over.
Yeah, during the audition, I only spoke in Korean, and at the callback, they said, "You know what? We're gonna speak in English instead." Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
It's funny that you guys are sharing that because Utah has been in a car commercial too,
Oh,
Jeez.
really?
Yeah.
right?
No, but just a local TV spot for a local Subaru dealer. That's all. And
Wow.
I didn't have any lines. I just shook somebody's hand. And of course, and the funny thing is the casting call was for a diverse group of people, and there was one other Asian woman. There was an Asian woman about my age there, and then there was a younger Asian man. And they had him looking at like the Civic R, of course, because I wouldn't look for a Civic R. The young Asian guy would, though.
Oh.
But then when it came to we need a couple here to talk to this car salesman, they paired me with the Asian woman to be the couple talking to the car salesman because
About the
that makes sense,
minivan,
I
right?
guess.
Or-
I don't know what it was. I kept on talking about the Civic R, but whatever.
That's funny.
But I guess we have that in common too. Except yours is like all over Asian U.S. and mine's just here in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, well, still, that's still good. I mean, a lot of actors would kill to have that role.
It was fun. It was fun, and I got paid for the day, so
Yeah.
I can't complain.
That's
They didn't give me a car though. Did you get a car? Did Hyundai give you a Tucson?
No.
Okay, see, what is this?
Right?
I feel like we need to write to these car companies, but Subaru's Japanese and Hyundai's Korean, so I don't know what leg we'd have to stand on.
That Hyundai Tucson was a nice car, though. I was really surprised by the
They look
interior.
nice.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. I was like, oh wow, I wouldn't mind having this car. But
Did they have a stunt driver or anything, or were you actually doing
yeah,
the driving?
no. Well, our car was carried by a rig, like a huge
Oh.
rig. Yeah. So
yeah,
I was driving, but we were on. Do you see James Corden's carpool karaoke?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that.
It's like that?
Yeah.
Sound like a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, on a trailer. Yeah.
That's fun.
Gotcha. Okay. The magic of television.
Exactly. Yeah. They were
So-
telling me to open my they asked me if I could make my eyes bigger because when I smile or laugh,
Oh, come
they get
on.
really. Well, the director was Asian, so I knew it wasn't a racist thing. It
Okay.
was like,
Oh, right.
and we have really good cameras, but we can't zoom in enough for it to look big. So he was like, if you can make me. So I was trying to like laugh without making my eyes big, but I just looked weird doing it.
Yeah, because in your light, it looks like you're putting in the effort to do something
Yeah,
different with your face.
exactly.
Yeah. I hear you. That's funny though. Oh my god.
So, speaking of things that you guys have in common, we were just talking to Utah. He's in a production of SpongeBob the musical here locally,
Oh
in
wow.
Cleveland. And I know that you're an actor. You're obviously a musician and can sing. Have you ever done musical theater? Is that something that you would consider if it came along or you would audition for?
You know, maybe. I feel like musical theater, you need to have a lot of like bubbly energy, and I'm not sure. I mean, I'd be willing to try it out, but definitely it will be putting me out of a comfort zone for sure.
I see.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
but I'd be interested. Yeah,
Makes sense.
I was just curious because you do the acting and the singing. I wondered if you'd combined the two.
yeah,
or
yeah.
considered that.
I wouldn't mind. That's for sure. But definitely wouldn't be like. I would prefer to do just acting or just stand up or just
Sure.
singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into musical theaters for some reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
No.
Right. I mean, I love it. I think it's great, and I have huge respect for anyone who does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just never got into it. Yeah.
Well, we are coming up on time. Ryan, it's been awesome. I'm so glad that you came to spend time with us tonight, and I really appreciate that you took time out of your day to do that. As you
Yeah.
just said, I would love to have you come back.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anytime.
we'll have to do an episode of Mary Ryan Koo. You can come on. Aaliyah can give you some advice from the female persuasion, and
Yes. Would love that.
That's right.
we could
Yeah.
do
We'll have
it.
an episode called "Coup for You."
Oh, there we go. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I would.
trying to
Any
think of
help is
names now.
appreciated.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll help you. But I do need to let our audience know a couple of quick things before
Of
we
course.
go. It is almost March, which means it's St. Baldrick's time, which is the time that I shave my head, and I'm actually going to shave the beard if we raise enough
What?
money. Not all the way, not to a bare face, but just all the way.
No, none of us will recognize you if you do that.
Well, this is what I've been growing out since I think last time I shaved was in the summer. But yeah, St. Baldrick's is great. It's we're raising money for pediatric cancer research. So if you could be interested in doing that.
See you, Ryan. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying bye to Vance.
Oh, bye, Vance.
Bye, Vance. He stayed. He was the mystery one listener.
That's right. So this is the QR code that you can scan. I put it in a very strategic spot so that you can, aren't distracted. But yeah, if you are watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. Check that out. Any amount donations, and everything will be shaved March 10th, and all the money goes to raise money for pediatric cancer research, which of course is how my daughter was life.
Where did Utah go?
Exactly, right. Anyway, so there's that. I'll move it now. Here you go. I could have put that anywhere. I don't know why it ended up there.
I feel honored and privileged to have
Yeah.
a QR code.
So we're back, people. We've got shows again every week. We are also combining forces with our good friends at the Promptly Written podcast for another crossover episode where we will be writing short stories with those guys, reading them here on our show, and then listening to theirs on their show. So you have to listen to all. And the prompt, did you see the prompt, Utah?
I've not seen the prompt, no.
The prompt is World Gone Geek.
Oh,
I don't know why you decided to do that. They didn't do a poll this
clever
time.
of them.
You just decided to make it World Gone Geek. So
They didn't do a poll. I had plenty of prompts for them.
Yeah. No, they didn't do a poll. So World Gone Geek is the prompt. So be sure to tune in for that. That's coming up very soon. In March, they'll be on the show and we'll talk to them. Once again, Ryan, I can't thank you enough for being here. It's really a pleasure talking to you.
You've been
I'll
awesome,
continue.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Is there anything you want to tell folks, like where you're going to be next, what type of, where they can find you on the internet and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, totally. You guys can find me on all social platforms that I have at Hankyokoo, which is spelled HANKYOLKOO. My website is www.hankyoku.com, and I'm actually gonna be attending a NACA conference, which is like a showcase where you do a lot of colleges all
Oh,
over
Oh,
the
nice.
nation. So I'm hoping to start hitting the road soon.
Look
And
out.
so hopefully I'll have some tour dates out and I'll be in like states outside of California. So you could keep up with that on my website or Instagram. Yeah.
Cool.
awesome. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. If you're going to be in Ohio, please let us know. We'll figure
I
out a
was
way
about
to try to get down there.
I hope you hit Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
We've
the
got
club
lots
in
of
Ohio
colleges
called?
there.
Oh,
Ohio-
okay.
You could come to Ohio State. That's only about 2 hours away from us. We could go down there. Or Cleveland State here in Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'd come see you. We'll come see if you come to Ohio.
You guys will be willing to drive 2 hours for me?
Sure, why not? Yeah. Well, hey, we were talking about driving 2 hours for one of our other guests too. He was a professional wrestler that had a match down there. Unfortunately, the match came during the hiatus that we were on, and just the timing didn't work out. But we're gonna do it at some point. Maybe it
Yeah,
could be
hey.
the same weekend. Maybe you could
Hashtag
do
2 hours for the coup.
But no, yeah, we would. That's not far away, and we both have friends and folks that we can visit in Columbus because we both went to Ohio State down there.
I have no
okay.
friends in Columbus. I have no
You don't
friends.
have any friends down there anymore, or are you joking?
In Columbus? No, I'm just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just.
Okay, I was gonna say you probably have more
I-
friends down there than I do. Even. I tended to not make a lot of friends when we were. No, I'm kidding. So-
that was after you met Lee. I was-
Thanks again for being here, Ryan. Thank you for listening. We are World Gone Geek. We're available pretty much anywhere. There's a social network as at World Gone Geek. That's TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We're actually on all three: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch tonight. And there's 2 people watching, but we are out there. We broadcast on all of them just because we wanted to get it out there. And again, we like this raw atmosphere. We hope more people will come watch live. But we also are very, very appreciative of you listening to the podcast right now. You guys are keeping this going, and we really, really are grateful for your presence. So follow us on TikTok,
Indeed.
follow us on all the fun. I said TikTok, but we haven't TikToked in like a year. But if we get more followers, maybe I will. We'll do this live on TikTok. I don't care.
What?
Well, we need 1,000 followers, and TikTok, you have to have 1,000 to go live. And we're at 700.
Oh. I gotcha.
There's 2 people watching the live stream?
Yeah, according to me, I can see one is watching on YouTube, one's watching on Twitch.
Wow.
So, that's cool.
That's more. That's 2 more people that don't love. That's 2 more people than who loves me.
Stop. Ryan, we love you. We are grateful that you're here. And we'll continue to follow and keep and you posted a bunch of your latest photo shoot is a major thirst trap. So I know that you're gonna get some folks probably gonna be in contact with you. We'll have to share some of those, and then people you need to lead with those, I think, because that's what women are looking for, right?
It's all Photoshop. I paid them.
They fixed it all in post. That's just the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Utah, thanks again. It was great to be back with you, and we'll be back next week with another guest and more geeky talk and pop culture.